was assassinated. The former Sunni Prime Minister of Lebanon was on his way home from lunch when a suicide bomber detonated a van full of explosives equivalent to 2.5 tons of TNT. That attack was initially blamed on pro-Syrian Lebanese generals, but a UN-backed tribunal set up to try the killers has now named 5 suspects, all alleged members of Hezbollah. What effect has Hariri's assassination had on Lebanon in the years since his death? That's the subject of today's Inside Look. Joining me for that now from Beirut is Imad Salameh. You're the author of the book, The Politics and Government of Lebanon. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us here on France 24.
Thank you for having me.
Well, first of all, I think it's important to remind our viewers who exactly was Rafiq Hariri and what did he do for Lebanon?
Yes, Rafiq al-Hariri was a prominent politician, a Sunni leader who built a business empire in Saudi Arabia, but then came to Lebanon after the end of Lebanese civil war with the mission to build peace in Lebanon, to rebuild the country's infrastructure that was destroyed after the civil war. And in fact, Rafiq al-Hariri managed to do just that because he built the entire infrastructure of the country, from bridges to roads to telecommunication to airports to everything that you could think of. After a short while of his premiership as a prime minister of the Lebanese government, he managed to regain confidence in the country, internationally and locally, and was able to manage to build stronger ties between Lebanese different sectarian groups. And therefore, in many ways, Rafiq Hariri was building Lebanese independence and building the countries from scratch, making it more viable for economic investments and for the future of the people of Lebanon. And this definitely wasn't something that many regional powers were happy of, that Lebanon becoming little by little independent and drifting from the regional influence that they held traditionally over the country.
Well, what about Hariri's legacy now, 9 years on? Have his political ideals been respected and followed in the country?
Of course, the Lebanese by large loved Rafiq Hariri because he was a man of peace. He wasn't putting them in confrontation with anyone. He wasn't trying to pursue a personal agenda or a strictly sectarian one. And therefore, his death brought many Lebanese to the realization that they must carry on his cause, his agenda, and they gathered on March 14, 2005, in order to demand the ousting of the Syrian troops and Syrian control over the country and to demand independence. And indeed, they succeeded in doing that. They forced the Syrians out after their big demonstration, and little by little they established. The people of Lebanon, they managed to hold election and to build the country and to carry on what Hariri implemented in the country. But this didn't suit many political parties in Lebanon tied to regional powers, particularly the group called March 8, led by Hezbollah, because in their views, Lebanon must remain part of a larger struggle and must held up to a confrontation movement against Israel in one way, or against what they perceived as Western influence into the country. So, what Hariri started continued. However, the opposition to his plan led to the collapse of the Senura's government and later on to the ousting of his son, Saad al-Hariri, totally from the country. And pretty much, many of what Hariri tried to do in Lebanon have been reversed due to Hezbollah's opposition in one way and the Syrian oppositions and continuous influence in the country.
Sir, just very briefly before we go, you mentioned Rafi Hariri's son, Assad. He's just recently made quite a sharp U-turn in the past weeks, saying that his bloc was prepared not to join a unity government with Hezbollah. Why would he change his opinion so dramatically?
Saad Hariri doesn't have many options to work with. He knows that Hezbollah has a strong military infrastructure, and it can disrupt the entire country and may anytime engulf Lebanon into a sectarian war, bringing us back to the civil war. Saad al-Hariri realizes that and is working with what's possible rather than what he really wishes to have the country looking like. And therefore, I think Saad al-Hariri would like to forge a minimal alliance with Hezbollah to formulate a government and to hold the country's peace without having it totally slip into a civil war, and perhaps try to negotiate and pressure Hezbollah gradually to become part of the Lebanese state and to hold its interest within Lebanese economy and peace, rather than being involved in the Syrian conflict and to continue its military approach to issues in the region.
Thank you so much, Imad Salameh. We'll have to leave it there. Thank you for speaking to us, sir, from Beirut, and we apologize for the poor quality of that Skype line there from Beirut. All right, next for you on France 24 Sports. First up, the latest from the Sochi Winter Games.
Well, it's